Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Paco here. I found this video about why playing games alone is good for you. I figured we'll watch it together. On your way in, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to help support the channel, leave a comment down below, and let's get into the video.
The value of solo gaming. This is what I want to talk about today, and I'm breaking it down in 3 different parts: solitude, therapy, and joy. Now before we get into it, I need to stress that gaming is obviously only beneficial when done in moderation. You don't want to overdo it, you don't want to let it take over your life. You don't want to choose it over traditional methods when it comes to therapy and stuff like that. This is more to open your eyes to the fact that it does serve as its own kind of therapy and it does have its benefits.
Facts.
But you need to see that these are a bonus to the joy that gaming brings, because primarily video games are designed for joy / emptying your wallet. There's a big difference between loneliness and solitude, but most people never really learn that, and that's okay. Let me explain.
There is a huge difference between loneliness and solitude. However, the reason that most people don't learn that is because in today's society, even though we are the most interconnected we've ever been, a lot of people feel alone and they don't understand what the difference is between loneliness and solitude is.
As we all know, this modern world that we live in today is eerily interconnected.
He's going into it.
Into the system, and it never really feels like you're ever truly alone, which is terrifying to me. And I'm sure a lot.
See, I disagree with that. I think with today's connected society, it actually feels like we're more alone than we've ever been. Because if you think about it, you could just pick up your phone, text somebody, and they could respond back immediately. But you don't have that face-to-face interaction anymore. Except obviously, you know, family, coworkers, stuff like that. But you don't have a spot where you could just go hang out with your friends and bullshit for a couple hours anymore. You don't really do it that much anymore.
Of you feel the same way. We're all connected all the time, whether it's the news, work, social media, group chats, online gaming. The list goes on, you just can't escape it. But as cliche as it is, solo gaming is one of the very few times I get to feel alone, but in a good way. Solo gaming, hiking, sleeping, and that is about it really. Solo gaming.
I love solo gaming. A lot of the games that I play anymore are solo gaming. I'll play a few multiplayer games, but it's more games that are designed to be played solo or multiplayer. Take like Diablo 4 for example. I'll play Diablo 4 with a couple people when we're all able to get on and play together, but I also play it just by myself a lot.
Is a conscious space. It's a quiet room that you can step into, shut the door behind you, and let the world fade away. It allows you to be alone, but not lonely. It's peaceful. Solitude kind of feels like you can finally breathe. There's no pressure to perform, there's no competition. It's just you and the world in front of you, the digital world, but a world nonetheless. And in that space, you're able to just listen to yourself again. There's a sense of clarity that only comes from being alone with a story. Solo games create a mental space that's yours and yours alone, and we need that more than we realise. Psychologists have studied solitude for decades, and the findings are pretty clear. When it's purposeful, spending time alone can be deeply beneficial.
Oh, absolutely. Spending time alone is deeply beneficial when it's done correctly. You get the chance to slow your mind. You breathe easier. You don't need to impress anybody. You don't need to perform at work. You could just sit there, shut your mind off, focus on what you're doing. Hopefully what you're doing is bringing you happiness, but you literally can just decompress. This is why video games have been such a huge thing, not only for children, and by children I'm including everybody up to the age of 18, but also for adults. Because you spend 12 hours working a shift, you come home, you sit down, and you load up Skyrim. And you just spend the next 2-3 hours in Skyrim just running around doing quests and killing things with a sword. To some people that's decompression, to other people that's therapy, but to everybody that is joy.
Research links solitude to improved creativity, better emotional regulation, and even stronger personal identity.
Yes.
This tells us that solitude helps you find who you are beneath all the layers of mess and noise, and solo gaming is one of the best, most immersive ways to experience that. The stories in these games aren't there to be witnessed, but they're there to be
I gotta play this campaign.
You're part of it. You're not passive, you're engaged. You're making choices and solving problems. You get to explore new worlds, go in whichever direction you want to go. It's a form of mindful escape that offers focus and calm at the same time. People talk a lot about meditation or yoga, and they're both great. I have done both. Now I just do a bit of yoga in my living room, but I kind of feel like I don't need to meditate. But anyway, people always mention these things, but no one ever mentions booting up Skyrim after a long hard day, walking through the forests and mountains and turning the ambience up and just losing yourself in that moment. It's so peaceful and calming for the mind. I love it. And I spend a fair bit of my time just wandering around aimlessly before or during certain quests. It definitely feels like some kind of restoration is going on there when I'm doing this. Let's talk about the actual healing side of solo gaming, because for a lot of people playing games alone is as much therapy as it is entertainment. There's a growing scientific evidence that playing video games, particularly in solo immersive settings, can reduce stress, ease anxiety, and even help people manage symptoms of depression.
I don't know if he's going to go into it, even though gaming could be a form of therapy. If you are experiencing certain problems, you should still go seek a therapist and talk to somebody about it. He mentioned depression. Depression is a great one. In my life, I went through a bout of depression when my family broke apart. And one thing I did have to rely on was gaming. Gaming has got me through some things that just sitting down and talking to somebody never would have. But you do have to take it as it is. You do have to realize that you could sit down, you could play a game, you could feel happy for a couple hours, but when you turn that game off, you're going to go right back to where you were before. So you still have to work on what the issue is, but it is okay to load up a game, sit there for a few hours, and just forget about your problems and be happy.
In 2020, researchers at the Oxford Internet Institute studied players of Animal Crossing New Horizons and Plants vs Zombies Battle for Neighborville. What made this groundbreaking is that for the first time, a major academic study used actual playtime data from game developers, not just self-reported hours. The results were clear. People who played more reported higher levels of psychological well-being. Lead researcher Professor Andrew P. summed it up by saying, "Our findings show video games aren't necessarily bad for your health. In fact, they might actively be good."
They are good.
What's actually happening when you play a game alone that helps your brain recover? It comes down to a few key mechanisms. First, there's control. Real life can feel unpredictable, we all know it. Careers change.
A lot of problems with real life is the fact that you cannot control what is going on around you. No matter how hard you try, no matter how bad you want to, you will always have that element that you are unable to control. And that namely comes down to other people's reactions, other people's actions also, and stuff that just happens that you cannot foresee or you didn't plan for or predict. In video games, you usually have a clear, concise control on what happens. Like, let's take Pokemon, for example. Anybody who watches my videos is going to know Pokemon. Either you played the games or you didn't, it doesn't matter, you know Pokemon. If you walk in the grass in Pokemon, you know there's a chance that you can get into a battle. Whether it's with a trainer or a wild Pokemon, doesn't matter. But you can also take control, avoid the grassy areas, or avoid the trainer, and you don't have to deal with any of that.
Relationships shift. As you get older, you get more and more responsibilities. But in video games, you're given a very clear sense of agency. You have goals, you make progress, and you receive a response. Every quest completed or every level gained is immediate feedback that says you're moving forward, you're doing a good job.
Yes.
In solo games, you're not just part of the story, you're the very centre of the story. And that sense of control can be incredibly powerful for anyone who feels overwhelmed or powerless in day-to-day life. Second is immersion. Games are uniquely effective at capturing your full attention. When the brain is stuck in cycles of stress or anxiety, deep engagement in a game can interrupt those loops, acting like a cognitive reset or a circuit breaker. Research in cognitive psychology shows that immersive activities, including gaming, help regulate your mood by shifting focus away from negative thought patterns and into structured, rewarding tasks. In other words, getting lost in the game isn't always avoidance, it's a proven way to give your mind space to recover. Thirdly, safe expression. Solo games often create a space where players can explore difficult emotions, grief, identity, fear, failure, without real-world consequences. Titles like Journey or Spiritfarer are designed with these themes in mind, turning play into a kind of guided reflection. But even outside of explicitly emotional games, the effect is measurable. Research in neuroscience shows that progressing in games activates dopamine pathways associated with motivation and reward, while also reducing cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. In practice, that means even completing challenges in an action game can provide a genuine sense of relief and emotional processing. People often say that,
especially if you think about it this way. You've been playing this game, you're stuck on this one quest or this one boss, and you start getting frustrated because you've died. Like, take Diablo 4, for example. You're fighting the beast in the ice. lair boss, and you keep dying to him on the difficulty you're on. You're not able to pass it, so you go out, you do other things, you get more gear, you go back, you fight him, and you pass it. It is such a huge spike of dopamine, and it feels like you actually accomplish something, and you can physically see the power of your character going up.
This is a false sense of achievement, but if it genuinely reduces the stress hormone, it's a real achievement. It's real. One study published in JMIR Mental Health tested the use of casual video games for stress recovery. The result was that players who engaged with solo games like puzzles or platformers showed significant reductions in heart rate and stress levels after just 20 minutes of play. That is literally as effective as meditation or going for a short walk.
Yes.
This is great news for people who don't feel comfortable with traditional self-care tools. That being said, I would still recommend going for a walk every now and then. If you're anxious and going for a walk isn't something you're truly comfortable with, see if someone else will go with you. I know it sounds silly, but I have been that person who wouldn't go for walks, like even down to the shops, without somebody by my side. It happens. Moving on, so even the World Health Organization, which controversially included gaming disorder in its classifications, now acknowledges the mental health benefits of moderate gameplay. And let's not forget the real world stories, the experiences we've all been through. How many people picked up Stardew Valley during lockdown and used it to escape the anxiety?
In 2020, 2021, and even 2022, Stardew Valley stories of people picking it up and just playing this and building it up on their end saved them a lot from the stresses, their minds, and everything during the whole lockdown of COVID. Stardew Valley was massively popular. I don't know where it ranks today, even though it's not the same, but now that we're kind of back out into society, I'm sure it still has a loyal, dedicated fan base, but I'm not sure how big it is anymore. But yeah, Stardew Valley was massively popular during COVID.
To give themselves a break from constant news stories. How many players turn to The Witcher or Skyrim or Minecraft after going through breakups, or after they've lost their job, or simply when they've had no plans on a Saturday night? We've all been there, some of us are there quite often. But hopefully you don't feel too bad about that, because you don't need to. So if we're being honest,
before he goes into this, one of the biggest reasons that we all still play games is because it makes us happy. There's a certain type of feeling that you get from just sitting down and playing your favorite game. It doesn't matter if it was a game that was made in the 90s, early 2000s, or a game that just released in January of this year. It does not matter. You feel joy, your happiness level goes up, your dopamine goes up, your cortisol goes down. That is the main reason why a lot of us still play games, even into adulthood.
The number one reason we game is for entertainment, to feel joy.
Yep.
The benefits of gaming, the cognitive sharpening, emotional regulation, the therapeutic impact, those are just nice little perks. They're not the reasons we decide to spend our money on video games. It's a hobby, it brings us joy. And although 2/3 of this video is about justifying why gaming's okay, that doesn't mean gaming needs that justification. Not to anybody else and not to yourself. Solo gaming doesn't have to be productive. It doesn't have to improve your mental health or train your brain or build some sort of skill set. It can just be fun. It's strange how we live in a world that makes us feel like joy has to be earned. Like every hobby must have a secondary function, such as serving as a side hustle. Even rest is judged by how useful it is, which is absolutely insane. And we need to scrub that notion from our minds immediately. It's unhealthy. We need our downtime. We need to be able to switch off. So what if joy was the only function? No hustle angle, no form of therapy. What if the thing that makes you feel good, the satisfaction of finishing a story, discovering a new world, meeting interesting characters, or just zoning out for a while, what if that was valid in itself? Well, why can't it be? Sure, gaming improves your cognitive focus, sure it can reduce stress, lower cortisol levels, yeah, solo gaming helps you recharge and regulate emotions, etc. But those are the bonuses. The real reason people return to their favourite games again and again is because it brings them joy. It's as simple as that. And you don't need a study to tell you that you revisit your favourite games because you enjoyed them. Let's flip it for a second. So, nobody asks why somebody listens to music alone. Nobody asks why somebody reads a novel alone, or goes to the cinema alone, or even eats.
So the eating is a little bit different, but yes. Nobody asks why people go watch movies, read a book, listen to music alone, because they understand the whole therapeutic value, how it brings them happiness and joy. But for some reason, when it comes to gaming, And I still deal with this in my life a little bit. Like, my mother, for example, doesn't understand why I spend so much time making these videos and playing the games that I do because it brings me happiness. It brings me joy. I love sitting here talking with you guys and watching this stuff and learning new things and seeing what games are coming out soon and the franchises that I'm interested in. It brings me joy, it brings me happiness.
Eat at a restaurant by themselves. I mean, that one does turn a few heads, but you get my point. They're seen as normal, even noble ways to spend your time. But gaming, suddenly there's this internal pressure, and a lot of us feel just wrong for sitting there gaming by ourselves. It just feels like a waste of time. But that is what we call conditioning, and we need to break it. Because the simple truth is, your time is yours to spend how you want to spend it.
Exactly.
I find it quite sad how some people aren't true to themselves and they won't admit to enjoying things that they love because they know the people around them wouldn't approve. It's just sad. People should always unapologetically be themselves and embrace what they love, regardless.
I agree. There's some times where you just got to kind of step up and be like, listen, this is what I enjoy doing. This makes me happy. It helps me in this way, in this way, in this way. I understand that you don't understand it, but I'm going to do it the way I know how to do it and what helps me and what benefits me. If that's sitting down for 2 hours a day playing a video game and then going to bed, or if that's coming home, taking care of your family and not touching a game again, you got to do what benefits you, what brings you the most happiness, what helps you in everyday life.
Regardless of outside opinions. But these days, it's a lot easier said than done. But yeah, your time is your own, and joy is a very, very valid way to spend that time. Next time you're gaming and you feel like you're achieving nothing, just remember that you are achieving something.
You always are
Because
achieving.
you're achieving peace, you're achieving joy. They are pretty big achievements if you ask me, very important things to experience in the one life that you have. You're giving yourself a break from the world, the messed up, hectic, constantly moving world. I think it's important to remind yourself that you're not a machine. Yes, you do have to be productive depending on the type of life that you want to build for yourself and for future generations, but you're not a machine. Do not neglect your downtime. The world is very demanding, but so are you. Your body and your mind, it demands rest. Even more so in this modern age. So don't burn out, do your fair share, and then allow yourself to get lost in video games every now and then. Now, as you may or may not know, I'm not the best at goodbyes, so...
Fantastic video. Fantastic video. I absolutely agree that gaming is therapeutic. It does bring joy. We do need to erase the conditioning that's around gaming. I remember just growing up, the 80s and 90s, gaming was a new thing, a new form of entertainment coming around, and it was kind of, not really any opinions on it. Early 2000s, you had all the opinions that gaming was destroying young children, about how it was leading to violence and everything. The 2010s was kind of the same thing, though. It became a little bit more normalized to game. And now in the 2020s, we have gaming as a health benefit. So gaming has come a long way in the last 40, 50 years about things that it can do. Gaming is also one of the best ways to help your hand-eye coordination also. Fantastic video. If you guys enjoyed it, please remember to like the video. Leave a comment down below, subscribe to help support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.